Hello, welcome to today's video. I've got some books for you to read to stay cozy and make it through this winter. First up is a classic cozy Agatha Christie, The Body in the Library. The premise of this is an older rich couple discovers a dead body in their library. They are mortified at this scandal being in their home and set off to find out who done it. Up next, we have A Pocketful of Rye. This body is found with a pocket full of rye and other parts of nursery rhymes that are clues left. And so it's a great one to puzzle out if you're familiar with the nursery rhymes behind it as well. Very fun read. And then, can you guess which one this is? The very iconic and famous And Then There Were None, where one by one everyone ends up murdered on this island. It's also a BBC adaptation now. Then we have Said Cypress, which I have mentioned previously. Even though it was her easiest to solve and she considered it her worst book, it's still a great read. I mean, you can't go wrong with Agatha Christie's. Always cozy, always fun. And then up next, we are still on the Agatha Christie train. A murder is announced. Someone puts an ad in the paper announcing that they're going to commit a murder, and they invite the whole village to come and attend. And of course, everyone does, but that's how someone is lured to their death. And then we have one of my very, very favorite of Agatha Christie's works, Curtain. It is Poirot's last case. So I would recommend reading some other Poirot mysteries and then getting to this one if you have not read it yet. And then we have There Is a Tide. This is a murder case in which very little random objects, as you see on the cover, end up adding up to having something to do with the murder, like lipstick. I can't wait to reread this one because it's actually been long enough for me that I don't remember who is the killer. And 450 from Paddington. This is a woman witnesses a murder on a train, and people claim to have never even seen the people she was talking about that she saw. So she starts to wonder if she is going crazy or if something is being covered up. Halloween Party is a great read for any time of year. Obviously, even better if it's Halloween time, but very fun, cozy, again, with some mythology to help you sort it out. And that is all the Agatha Christie's. Moving on to The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. If you've seen this film, you have got to pick this book up. It's a great coming of age and coming into one's self story. For a less familiar read, Pictures of Hollis Woods is a book that I loved when I read it as a child. It is the story of a little girl who is going through the foster care system. It's a very touching story. Tissues are needed. On to the classics. Again, Charlotte's Web, about a spider who helps save the life of a pig. If you happen to not be familiar with the premise. If you've seen the movies or anything and haven't read the book, definitely pick it up. Also, Beverly Cleary's The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Again, something you may have seen the film version of, but that I recommend, just a cozy little read. Picking up the book, of course, it can be found at local libraries. It's such a classic. And then up next, you may not have heard of this book, These Is My Words. It's not really a true diary. It is a historical fiction piece, but written as if it's a diary of a woman during this time frame. It was a really great read. It's romantic and it's just a really unique way to tell a historical piece of fiction. So I really enjoyed it. This, Same Kind of Different as Me, is a true story of how a homeless man and a rich art dealer, how their lives come together. This has also now been made into a film. Really recommend the book. And then a classic again by J.D. Salinger, The Catcher in the Rye. This is one of my favorites from the fact that it is really a great take on what happens with childhood trauma and mental illness. All the King's Men, if you are not familiar with this classic by Robert Penn Warren, is a great political piece if you are interested in starting to kind of get into politics. It's not like a political science book, but it is about a man who is a great man and how he becomes corrupted through the power that he gains as he moves up in the political power. Very interesting. From a psychological standpoint, and of course, if you are getting into politics and just want to study out kind of that world of how people act behind closed doors. And then let's wrap up on some super cozy, very familiar notes from most of our childhoods, I would think. Harry Potter, I got the MinaLima editions for my birthday last year, and I can't wait for the 2023 release of Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm definitely planning on collecting all of the MinaLima editions. They are just so beautiful. If you are not familiar with them, I'll give you a little tour here. They're illustrated. This set actually even came with this frameable print of Diagon Alley, which I loved. But there's illustrations throughout the book. Almost every page has something on it. There's no plain blank spaces, and then also little pop-up sections. It makes it really, really fun to open up. Like, this is also some of Diagon Alley here, and here's one of the portraits over the common room, and you can actually move her eyes, and then you can open it up and look inside the Gryffindor common room. So it's interactive. I love, because it's a book about magic, and it brings a little bit of magic to the reading experience because you get to interact with the book in a physical and tangible way through what they've added here. And then here's just a quick little tour of the Chamber of Secrets. My favorite one in this is the Burrow. It's so cozy and cute, and I love the Weasleys, and it's fun to take a little peek into how the artists at MinaLima are envisioning what the Burrow would look like to them. There's a mandrake, there's the Whomping Willow, and then just how the pages are just so beautiful. Just a heads up, of course, in this book there are spiders on several pages. So that's a wrap on that part of the wizarding world. I am going to next show you some more Wizarding World from the Fantastic Beasts series. I actually purchased the screenplays of the first two films. I'm not buying the third one because I didn't like that movie, and it appears that has probably come to an end. However, this is just a general recommendation if you don't like Fantastic Beasts, but if you would like to see if some films, this isn't common, but there are some films where you can find the screenplays and read the screenplays of the movies that you like. So definitely, I would recommend checking that out as a unique thing to read. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a super fun Valentine's, and I've got lots of exciting content coming all spring, so make sure you're subscribed.